there's a state I spend the most amount of time in other than my own, it's Florida. Let's take a tour of 3 of the rooms here, starting in Tampa. I get dropped off at the white zone, which is for loading and unloading because there's no stopping in the red zone, and buy into the 1-3 for $500.
I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
Sure, I'll start with this hand. Gets to me in the cutoff, I open a 12, button and big blind call. Flop comes 4, 9, 10, 2 diamonds. Big blind checks, I bet 15, they both call. 10 of spades turn, big blind checks, I bet 30, they both fold. Yay, small win. Ace 10 of hearts. Under the gun opens to 12 and he has 2 callers. I'm on the big blind and I go for the squeeze. 70 to go. Just the low jack comes along. Queen jack 8 rainbow, 1 heart. I bet 45. He calls. And after he double flatted pre, then called my c-bet, I'm pretty much done with this hand unless I get some help. The 7 of spades brings me approximately 0 help, so I enter give up mode. I check to him, he bets 170, and I fold to what I suspect is a set of 8s. Background for this one. At this casino, and I believe at others in Florida, you can Mississippi straddle. For those who don't know, that means you can straddle from any position on the table. Sounds interesting, unless you're seated to the direct left of someone who keeps putting it on. Action always begins to the left of the straddler, and the guy to my right kept doing it.
He's all over the place. 900 feet up to 1,300 feet? What an asshole.
It was beginning to irk me losing my pre-flop position a good chunk of the time. He's even put it on as the cutoff and forced me to act first pre-flop on my button. Right now I'm in the small blind with 10-8 suited, and this guy has put that straddle on his button. I lose my pre-flop position and get to act right now with forced money already in. Pretty annoying, right? I've about had enough of his crap and open to 15. Mr. Straddler calls. We see 9-6 deuce with 2 clubs, so a really good flop all things considered. I bet 20, he calls. Offsuit 7 comes, bringing in my gut shot, and I can still redraw to a flush, but honestly, it would not be good to hit that flush. I go from the nuts now to potentially the 5th nuts. I bet 50, then he raises me to 135. Nah, I've had enough of your crap, Mr. Straddler. How about I raise you all in? He gives that oh oops face, then mucks his cards. I didn't get the max, but it was oddly satisfying taking a decent pot off of this guy. Pocket 10's in the big blind. There's 2 limpers and I bump it up to 15. They both call. 3-10 queen rainbow, middle set. Small blind checks, I bet 15. 1 limper folds, small blind calls. 7 of hearts comes in. Now there's no flushes to worry about. He checks, and I bet 30. He calls again. He's probably on a straight draw like King Jack. Now the 8 of clubs comes in. Wait, Jack 9 was also a potential straight draw, and that one just came in. He checks, and I still have to go for some value. I bet 100, and of course, he then jams for 281. It's Jack 9, isn't it? I'm not gonna make a nitty fold this time. I'm looking at you, Jack 10 hand from Hustler, and I begrudgingly make the call. He has Jack 9. Great. Next hand.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Suited connectors and 1-gappers are always fun to play in position. I'm on the button with 7-5 of diamonds, and I wait for the action to get to me. Why is everyone staring at me? Wait, seriously? Mr. Straddler put it on in the cutoff? Okay, for crying out loud, I get to go first? Fine, 18 to go. For cripe's sake. I get 3 callers, so this is fun. Let's smash the flop, and it comes ace queen 4 with not a single diamond. Talk about a whiff. But wait! Everyone check to me. Something good for my range. I bet 20 and get 1 caller. 8 of diamonds shows up. Where were you on the flop, man? I'm not keen on putting more money in this pot right now with 7 high and drawing to just a gut shot, so when my opponent checks to me, I do too. Jack of hearts ripper. He checks again. Give up or airball bluff it? Screw it, airball bluff. Hopefully 55 does the trick. Sweet, he folded. 7 high for the win. Let's try again with ace 10 of hearts. It's my button. Oh, and look at that. I actually get to see players act before me pre-flop. What a concept. The cutoff, who is usually Mr. Straddler, opens it up to 10. Nah man, it's gonna be 35. Small blind folds, then the big blind is like, hey man, that sounds good to me, and cold calls. Mr. Straddler then folds for some reason. Alright. Guess it's me, you, and your remaining $65 stack, big blind. King 9-9, 2 hearts, and you check? Yeah, that's good enough with me. All in. And you fold it. Alright, fine. No guarantee another heart would have come anyway. Pocket aces! And I win a tiny pot. Pocket sevens! And same thing. Table's dying, it's getting late, let's get out of here. Thanks to that hand where I ran a set into a straight, I got to book another small loss. The next morning I take a walk with the alligators, then leave Florida. I spend a couple nights on the West Coast, including a brief paid one-night vacation in Mexico, then make my way back to the Sunshine State. This time, it's to the other side. Hello, Coconut Creek.
I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
I make my way upstairs and decide to up the ante a bit this time. I sign up for 2-5, 1,000 max. Here's how this session went. I either had a pocket pair and a semi-interesting hand, or I took down tiny pots pre-flop off a bunch of limp folders. Here's some actual footage someone captured of me taking down those pots against people who wanted to see cheap flops. Excuse me, I'd like to play 6-3 offsuit.
Excuse me, sir, would you...
Donations to the skinny? Pocket deuces? Can I play the Doyle Brunson? How about the Robbie? Help me out with Jack 3? Queen Jack, but I don't want to raise 9-4. Come on, it's suited. Now let's get to the pocket pairs. I'll call this section of the video Pairpalooza. First pocket pair, it's Jesse James. In +1, I open things up to 15 and get 3 callers. In this case, it's fine, because I obliterate this flop of King, King, Jack. The blinds check to me, and I bet 20, which middle position calls. All others get out of dodge. 5 of hearts changes absolutely nothing. I'm hoping middle position has something to continue with here, but when I bet 65, he's out of there. Flopping boats is always fun, but I do feel like it can be tough to get max value out of them. Next pair, Cinco de Mayo. Gets to me in the hijack and I open to 15. Cut off calls and so does big blind. Ace 3-8 rainbow. Dang, 2 overcards. Can't believe it. That never happens. Big blind checks. I'm going to range bet anyway and throw out another 15. Cut off gets out of there and big blind sticks around. 7 of hearts comes, big blind checks, and I've got to decide if I want to bluff at this one or not. I elect to do so and throw out 40. When he calls again, I know he has an ace and has no intention of letting his hand go. When the jack of whatever comes on the river and he checks, I know I've got 0 fold equity, so I give up and check back. Sure enough, he's got a6 of hearts, and this pot goes his way.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking.
Third featured pocket pair goes to Dynamite. Get it? Because it's TNT?
You know this.
Yourself. I gotta get out of here. Out of here. I gotta get out of here.
The straddle is on, there's a limp, and I open it to 40 in the hijack. Cut off cold calls, then when it gets to small blind, he gives that all familiar pause. He reaches towards his chips, grabs $120 worth of them, and tosses them in the middle. Folds to me, and I don't love it, but I can tell this is a competent player following a 3-better fold strategy from the small blind. We're also deep enough for me to go for the set, so I make the call. Surprisingly, the cutoff also calls, and we're going to a flop with 385 already in the middle. 739 is the flop, and I've still got an overpair. Small blind makes a c-bet of another 120, and again, I'm not loving it, but I can't go anywhere yet. I call. The cutoff, who has only 30 bucks left, sticks those chips in. Now an ace shows up, and I immediately look across the table to see if the small blind likes this card or not. If he hesitates and checks, I'm going to go for the steal. Against anyone else at the table, I wouldn't try it, but I think if he checks, I have a decent amount of fold equity against this player type in this spot. If he has jacks through kings, those holdings hate this ace. If he has an ace in his hand or pocket nines, then he'd continue barreling on the turn for value. He hesitates, then checks. I stick with the plan. I'm going to represent this ace myself and shove my remaining 400 bucks in. I fade the snap call. So far, so good. But now I get to go through that agony of watching his behavior go from that of a folder to that of a caller. Oh no. Please don't. Don't. Ugh. You called? Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Welp, now I know I need to hit a 2-outer. Can we do it? Nope, we can't. Stupid 8 on the river. I tell him he made a nice call, reveal my 10s, and lose to kings. Chips!
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
Route 66. Nothing remarkable happens with this one. I ended up folding it. Oh, hey there, 10s. You want to try this again? I lost my stack with you, you know. Alright, fine. Straddle's on. Nobody wants to do anything with it until it gets to me in the big blind. 30 to go. Straddler defends, and holy crap, I flopped another boat. 10-4-4. Okay, look. I've been working on my passive play tendencies, and I really want to just bet out here. But in this case, I really have this board on a complete lock, and in theory, it shouldn't connect that well with either of us. So I check it over to under the gun, hoping he'll bite. Thankfully, he does, and bets 40. Now I'll start pumping this pot up. I make the check raise to 125, which he quite quickly calls. An 8 shows up for the turn. I double check his stack size to figure out a size that makes sense now to get all the money in on the river. He's got about 400 left, so I go with 100 now. If he calls, it sets it up nicely for a 2/3 pot shove shortly. Thankfully, he does make the quick call. River's a 3, a complete brick. I Hollywood for a few Mississippis, then shove for the rest of his $300. After a mini tank, he unfortunately lets it go. Come on. What did he have that he was eager to put money in quickly before and not now? Again, I don't know if I've ever gotten a full 3 streets of value when flopping a boat. Still a fun hand. He asked me to show one time, and in the spirit of the vlog, I oblige. Nice fold, sir. I had it the whole way. Last one for Pocket Pair Palooza in the form of the ladies. I open it to 15 from the +1 position, and the button, who's my opponent who called my bluff with pocket 10s, 3 bets to 50. When it gets back to me, I won't be pushed around, and 4 bet to 125. He makes the call, and we go to a flop, which brings a stupid ace on it. 4-6 ace. Well, given it's a 3-bet pot, I'm going to make a small bet with basically 100% of my range on essentially any flop. So I put out 65, which he calls. The turn peels off a 7, and I'm just no longer in the mood to bloat this pot up. I'm going to exercise control here and just check it over. Then he does something I was not expecting at all, and checks it back. A jack shows up. Given his check back on the turn, I feel like I can make a small bet here. I'm just going to go with a blocker size though to avoid facing a much bigger bet from his end. How about 100? He calls, and I lose to ace-king. Kind of a weird one. The check back on the turn threw me off. Unfortunately, I just can't seem to beat this guy in a pot, and I end up leaving Coconut Creep, dropping a cool $1,200.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
Do I really want to play today? I just can't seem to get anything going. I'm running kings and aces, I'm making hero folds and calls that end up being wrong. I have to fly in a few hours. You know what? I should go play. I need a confidence boost. I'll play against the old man coffees on this fine Sunday morning. ABC poker, wait for hands and then bet them. I got this.
Fast forward another couple days and I find myself with a full Sunday morning in South Florida. I make my way to the guitar and pay it a visit for the second time on this channel. I just have a few hours though, and this is basically just going to be a time-killing activity. I choose to just play a super low pressure and low stakes 1-2 game on this fine morning and sit down at a table filled with exactly the crowd you'd expect.
I just want to tell you both, good luck. We're all counting on you.
What can I say about this session? Well, quite frankly, it was not exciting at all. I mean, it was a Sunday morning. I was hoping there would be some residual party goers from the night before to play against, but maybe that's just a Vegas thing. Looks like I got notes for 12 hands from this session, so you know what? Let's spitfire them. King Jack of clubs, I win a small one. Ace Queen of diamonds, I lose a small one. Queen Jack, I lose to Ace King, and then... Okay, this one's mildly interesting. I got pocket queens and +1, open to 7, and get 2 callers. Before the flop comes, the first person checks dark, second person checks dark, and I say, you know what? I'm gonna bet 10 dark. Good thing I did, because the flop is Ace Queen 5. The first checker calls. 4 comes on the turn, he checks, I bet 20, he calls. 7 comes, he checks, I shove for about 50 bucks, he calls, and I'm good. Pocket kings and the big blind. Oh great, who has aces this time? Alright, pause. There have been some comments both online and in real life about 4-bets in low stakes games always being pocket aces. Okay, well, I just have to ask. If you believe that, are you folding pocket kings against any 4-bet pre and low stakes games? I only know of 2 poker vloggers who have done it. Doug Polk.
I fold.
Duck lays it down!
And Slow Poker.
I folded kings.
Anyway, are you folding? Honestly.
No, but thank you anyway.
Back to the hand. There are limpers. I'm pumping to 15. The limpers call. 10-7 deuce. I bet 15. They call again. Queen. I bet 65. Get 1 fold. Then the last opponent announces all in. Here's the thing. It looks like a $65 stack, so I just wait. Everyone just stares at me and I'm like, what's up? They tell me his stack is actually 70 and I technically have to call. Oops, here's another red chip. Rivers are 9, which doesn't matter, because I win against Jack 10. Hey, I didn't lose my entire stack to aces this time. Pocket 9s. I fold to a jam. Ace 5 suited. I flop the nut flush draw, miss it, check it back on the river when I know I have no fold equity, and lose a small one to pocket aces. Ace 6 of spades. I win a small one after my opponent's fold. Ace 5 of hearts. I end up folding it. Ace Jack of clubs. I win a small one. Ace 10 of hearts. Fold. King Jack of diamonds. I win a small one. 9-8 of diamonds. Fold. So yeah, that's the reality of a time-killing Sunday morning small stakes poker session right there. I won $64, which, given my recent losses, in order to get even, I just have to do that approximately a bajillion more times. Florida is a great place to play, but man, I just can't seem to win lately when I put the camera behind the cards. Losing is getting pretty old, and I'm sure everyone watching this can relate. Anyway, thanks for coming along with me for the ride once more. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.